And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is, I think, the 5th of November, 2025. I'm pretty sure it's a Wednesday. Hey, hope you're having a good day. As always, we have lots to cover. Serious talk on everything that affects you. And there's a bunch of stuff that affects you going on right now. And from the outset, we're going to do a little bit of this, that, and the other thing. We'll talk markets and the economy and your job and your industry. Communism. I never thought we'd get to the point where I would have to explain communism. Scam, shams, corruption, lies, and all kinds of stuff. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. We'll post it on our YouTube, the YouTube channel of BizTV and other podcast apps. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. Well, as expected, the communist won the mayoral election in New York City. It was the pneumonia against the big flu, and the pneumonia won. I don't know what would have happened if they had a good candidate. If that Curtis Swiliwa guy wasn't in, it would have been very close, and possibly if he was out, there would have been a move afoot to have the other moron win. But I need to do some splaining because, wow, this guy got 50% of the vote. He calls himself a democratic socialist, but it's all code for control freak. So let me explain a few things to you so you know, and let us be fair. Donald Trump's been practicing socialism. He's practicing socialism. He lowered taxes, which is not socialism, but he does massive tariffs, taxes that are socialism. They're taking positions in companies, socialism. He's proposing using some of that tariff money to pay out the citizens. Tax them and then pay out. Socialism. Farmers getting hurt by tariffs. Oh, yet let's use taxpayer dollars to pay the farmers. Socialism. My brand of capitalism is get the hell out of the way. But unfortunately, through the years, what has supposedly been capitalism has turned into socialism on the Republican side. I don't think we really have a real great capitalist anymore. But then there's the real bad, and that's communism. Now, we're not talking about what Stalin did, murdered a lot of people. We're talking economic communism. There is this socialism, Marxism, communism. For me, it's all one and the same. It's about being a control freak. Control freak. And what that simply means is you run the joint. And people are your servants. How can that be servants? Well, if you've noticed, the word free comes to mind quite often. Free. We're going to make this free, that free. Oh, the supermarkets, we're going to control the prices. Really? How are you going to control the prices of orange juice if there's a bad winter in Florida and orange juice prices spike up? What are you going to do about prices for the orange juice? Interesting. What if there's not a great herd of cattle and prices of meat? And by the way, prices of meat has gone up. What are you going to do about it? Interesting. Interesting. What are you going to do? Oh, you're going to control the prices. So you have to first understand is communism, socialism, Marxism, they don't care about money. They don't care about profit. They don't care about profit motive. They care about freebies. But what do they get in return for the freebies? Your vote. That's what it's about. Control. What they do is they prey on, and I hate using these terms, they prey on the people that either have their head in the sand, uninformed, or in need. And unfortunately, there's plenty of people in need out there, and they're preyed upon. Hey, we're going to give this to you, vote for us. But when we give this to you, this is what, and that's basically the story. Remember, how can something be free? How can buses be free? Don't you have to pay the bus drivers? Don't you have to put the gas in the buses? How can that be free? Oh, we'll explain in a second. Oh, we're going to stop the price increases in your apartments. Oh, but there may be a problem there because they are owned by landlords. Companies. How can you tell them what they cannot make? Interesting. Really. I can continue, but you get my point. He has already stated the manifesto. We want to control the means of production. That's what it's about. Let me give you some examples. Hugo Chavez took over Venezuela and promised, Castro was on TV when he became whatever at Cuba. He's a capitalist, he said. And what they did was they took over industry. They took over everything. They took over production. And in Venezuela, and what ended up happening was complete destruction. Now, the good news is it's only New York City, but it's not only New York City, of course. It's New York City. But it's a big economy, and it matters. And herein lies the problem of the socialist, Marxist, and communist. It's a very simple problem that they are going to run up against. Because he said in the debate, and the morons who were debating him did not jump all over it. Free, 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 free. Oh, 4 billion and 5 billion. So he admitted it would cost $9 billion for all his free stuff. And they just sat there. Well, kind of like, So he lied. And where is he going to get the $9 billion from? Well, what they always say is, well, the rich. The rich, the rich. Now, I've always had an issue if I use the same amount of services than the next guy, why do I pay $100,000 in taxes and he only pays 10? Well, that's your progressive tax. That's how that works. Fine and dandy. What he is saying is, to the wealthy there, oh, we're only going to hit you for 2%, or whatever he's saying. There's only one problem with that. The tax rate in New York is number 2 to California. Do you know what's already happened before any of this? Well, a crapload of business and people and capital have left New York and headed down to Florida. How do I know? I'm here. So that comes to my very important statement that always lives. If able, people, business, and capital will go to where it's treated best. Of course, the two words if able matters. A lot aren't able, but as you know, oh my goodness gracious, billions of dollars have left New York City. Billions. And this man actually thinks that's not going to occur? Up next, we'll put a bow tie on communism. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, problems. And they're simple. In New York City, already, somebody who makes a certain amount of money has to work into the month of July. The month of July before they get their first dollar. No, not kidding. 6 months of work for the government. Federal, state, local. By the way, you pay a state tax in New York and a local tax in New York. How do I know? One son lives in New York. You know what my other son did? He compared prices. He compared taxes. He now lives in Hoboken, New Jersey. And inclusive that in order to get into New York and go to his office, he takes the ferry, which is right near his apartment. The ferry takes him to the other side, and he takes a bus to his office. It was worth the dollars to go across the river. Now, what do you think? It's a simple thought. What do you think if they raise taxes on corporations and people that are able to move are going to do? Well, if I'm the governor of New Jersey, I lower taxes, but they just elected somebody that won't. I'd be lowering. Mondami says he's going to raise the corporate tax to meet New Jersey. If I'm New Jersey, I say, well, you go do that because I'm lowering mine. And by the way, all you corporations in New York City, we will kiss your butt if you move here. Now, of course, New York City has a great magnet to it, and that's the abuse of mayors and people that run great cities. Look what they're doing to Chicago. But the main point of all this, it's just control. And more control. And more control. That's all it's about. And they do it with rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes. Hey, on my wall, I kept. Listen to this. This was Kamala Harris. The Trump tax cuts would have been not extended. She wanted to raise the corporate tax rate. She wanted to do long-term capital gains increase. Unrealized capital gains, a wealth tax. Janet Yellen, who would have been our Treasury Secretary, has been calling for a worldwide tax. And Janet Yellen actually, and I'm quoting her, said, tax cuts are the problem. Yes, you keeping more of your money is a problem. Now, I haven't even touched upon that he's a racist, Jew-hating anti-Semite. And the reason why he's a racist, anti-Semite, Jew-hater is because Israel is one of the greatest democracies in all the world. Democracies, capitalism means typically go to work, do great things. They don't want that. They want to be up your arse 24/7 as much as possible until they can't anymore. And that's who this guy is. So let me state a couple of things for the record. It's just one man's opinion. And I'm very careful with my words. You do know that. Very careful with my words. Because we have taken on people here in the past. Nancy Pelosi we've taken on. How the wimpy journalists refused to ask her about our own district, San Francisco, who, by the way, they have a new mayor in there that's cleaning up the place. Good on him. And I believe he's a Democrat. I'll take good Democrat mayors. And, of course, she's a corrupt insider trader. We took on Biden. Like there's no tomorrow. I'm no fan of Trump, but he's done great things with the border. Really fighting crime. Biden, the worst president we ever had. And boy, oh boy, that's tough to come by. This guy running New York City, thankfully, he's only going to be running New York City. Because I have to tell you, mark these words down, he's going to be a nightmare. Mark him down. He is going to be a nightmare to the citizens. He is going to be nightmare on crime. We're just echoing his own words. Do you know last night, I believe about 7 or 8 synagogues were hit with swastikas last night? Do you know why? He gives license to it. No, he didn't call for it, but he gives license to it based on everything about him in the past. Though he came out and said on a tweet, "We will not stand for this." Okay. Now remember something about us. We have no agenda, ulterior motive, or bias. If he does a good job, we'll tell you. If he does not follow through with his racist anti-Semitism and maybe has learned his lesson, terrific. If he's unable to raise taxes, even better. If he doesn't piss all over the police, good. By the way, I'm hearing a bunch of police already quit today. And I believe I heard the Jewish head of the fire department resigned. They know. They know. They know exactly what I know. I hope he does a good job. But Marxism, socialism, and communism sucks. It has no place in this country. And unfortunately, Washington, D.C. has a lot of socialism in it, including this president. And I'm nauseous when he talks about the tariffs. He says tariffs are making the economy great. Horse crap. He also said we're going to go into a third world country if he can't use tariffs. Lie. So what can I tell you? There's enough to go around. We wanted to start with this. Let me finish with one last thing. That's up next. And then the markets. Thanks for your indulgence. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Da-da-da-da-da. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. It's Wednesday. So as you know, it's been a rough year for the Kaltbaum family. But at the same time, grateful. Both parents passed away in the last year, but in their 90s had a long, fabulous, terrific life. My wife's father, in his 90s also, now in the hospital. He had heart attacks years ago. He's had one of those things in him. Cancer up the wazoo, and now in the last week a stroke, and at that age, so fingers crossed. He's doing pretty good for this, but man, oh man, what one hell of a year for health. If there's anything I can preach to each and every one of you, take care of yourself. Believe me, I know as you get older, if you don't take care of yourself, and I do, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I think I sleep pretty well, I eat pretty well, work out like a madman, and still, as you get older, it's tougher. But just take care of yourself. When I go to a bar and I watch somebody downing 14 beers, and by the way, there's plenty of that going on. Believe me, I don't get it. Anyway, just take care of yourself. Have good health. Because, by the way, I know maybe it's an overused cliche if you don't have your health, but it's true. It's true. I know people that have had the world by the you-know-whats and then lost their health, and it didn't mean anything. A few other things, and we'll get in the market. By the weekend, the government will be back open. Leave no doubt. I think the Marxist Party has been just biding their time, waiting for the election. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to do something. And the reason why the airport thing, I got to tell you, I look at FlightAware every day. There is a lot of reduction of staff, and there's a lot of late flights and missed flights. I told you about on my trip up to New York. Now, that partially was weather, but you got to include that with all that's going on. And again, it is so depressing that in this day and age, the Morlocks on both sides of the aisle can't get their crap together. But then again, how do you even have any hope with people that have taken you, 38 trillion of debt now? Headed to what, 40 quickly? 45, 50, 55, 60? They don't give a crap about us. None of them. I know, this guy, that guy. Anyway. Okay, so if you had bet me after the close yesterday that at one time today, the NASDAQ was up 23,636, 136, 290, you would have won the bet. If you had bet me that the semiconductor index would be up 300 almost during the day today, you would have won the bet. Yesterday was a vicious sell day, and today it was like completely forgotten until some weakness at the end of the day. The stocks ended up 210 today. What is that, about 3%? A very good bounce after some vicious selling yesterday. The NASDAQ finished up 151 today. And again, was at 636, 137. It was up 290 at one time. Sold off into the close. I don't know exactly what that means. And maybe we got some backing and filling to do, but I got to tell you, I was darn impressed today by the ability to just jump right back up. And you know the names, the semiconductor names that have been doing the trick. They had another good day today. There's still plenty more earnings coming out. The AI, that artificial intelligence names that got hit so hard yesterday, forgot about it by the end of the day. Simple as that. Tomorrow's another day. Also of note today, every now and then an important name comes out of a coma. Amgen. Let me put it best. This great biotech company, let's go back, trying to go back on the weekly, is trading, let's see, I'm in 22. Before today, nothing, no gains for 3 years. How's that? March of 21 before today was up about 6% since March of 21 total. The stock was up today $23, which accounts for about 62, 18, 150 Dow points. Dow was up 225. Interesting enough, their sales, little acceleration, but earnings, major deceleration, but obviously something they said good. Caterpillar, down $23 yesterday, up $21 today, and that accounted for about 130, 140. So between those two stocks was all the Dow and more today. We're letting you know, and I must tell you, before today I would not have said this, but I have been convinced by some very smart people it is an artificial intelligence stock now. And you know how we know this? It's been moving like an artificial intelligence stock. I thought there was something else going on. But earnings, -2, -24, -21, and -4 has the stock recently rolling. And I realized, you know when it started to move? Early September. You know what started to move early September? All the Oracle things, Oracle with the big numbers and other companies announcing all these gargantuan numbers, lifted up the data storage, disk drives, the Microns, the SanDisk, the Seagates, the Western Digitals, and Caterpillar went along with it. And I am told part of their business going forward, or if not a lot of the business, will be in construction or whatever and whatever with it. So down 23 yesterday on a bad artificial intelligence day, up 21 today on a good artificial intelligence day. And that's that. And I'm impressed with today. What else happened today? A better broad market day. Something we do want to see. Advanced declines had a good day today. Interesting enough, more new yearly lows than new yearly highs on the NASDAQ. New York was about even. So that's not great news, but better than yesterday. What else today? Gold bounced. But we're going to stick with our theme on gold, time and price, which means it's got a little bit of time in here after dropping. I will tell you if the GLD breaks above, I'm going to give you a number, 370.50. If it breaks above 370.50, make that 370.40, then maybe you can get going again. Bitcoin bounced and the crypto bounced today. Boy, but it's been getting hit. I would call that just oversold. But leave no doubt the Bitcoin predictors have not been happy in the last. By the way, Bitcoin is now down 5% from last December. Have they told you that? And is down about 18% from the highs of about 6 weeks ago. Whatever. I still don't know what the hell it is. But I'll tell you what, I did read a story yesterday that a guy lost. I guess you need something. I don't even know how it works actually. But a guy had Bitcoin like years ago and lost it and can't find it. And it'd be worth like $500 million. Imagine you invested in Bitcoin years ago worth $500 million and you're never going to get it. My goodness. It's like losing a big lottery ticket. Unbelievable. Hey, up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. You know, we are in earnings season right now. And I got to tell you, after the market today, we've had earnings reports. There is like blow-up city. There's some things that are up. But are you ready for this? DoorDash, which has already been under a little pressure, hit a high of 285 recently, closed at 238 today. 196 in the aftermarket, lowered guidance. Qualcomm, Not so bad. That's only down $3. Robinhood. That's only down $2. Duolingo closed at 260. You ready? 206 in the aftermarket. How about Elf Beauty? Closed at 118. You ready for this one? 84 in the aftermarket. HubSpot, 465 at the close today. 416 in the aftermarket. Dang. Something called Residio Tech closed at 41. It's 36. Lyft. It's flat. Robinhood was down $6, but now I only have it down $1. ARM Holdings, hey, that's up $6. And for a change, Snapchat closed at $7.30. It's $9 in the aftermarket, so that's pretty good. But that stock's been mauled. Man, oh man. Oh, APP. That's up $26 in the aftermarket to $6.43. And that's a little bit of your aftermarket report. So strong day, didn't finish well. I will tell you, NVIDIA, don't see any news, but NVIDIA from 3 o'clock dropped from 201 to 195. In a good semiconductor day, did not see any news. That's not too good. And that didn't help at the end of the day. Big banks, they're hanging in there. Haven't broken out, but boy, they're hanging in there. Both JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs early in the day, right at the 50-day moving average and bounced. And if you want to know about Goldman Sachs, rallied $18 off the lows. It's 100 Dow points. Remember the big price names in the Dow. A Goldman Sachs, if it moves 1%, will be like 50 Dow points. In the Dow, if Verizon moved up 1%, my goodness, it'd be like 2 points. Yeah, right. So imagine there's 30 Dow stocks. One name goes up 1%, it's 2 Dow points. The other one goes up 1%, it's 50 Dow points. Makes sense? Not to me. I think it's stupid. They should do something with the weighting. What else is stupid? They really need to adjust the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. You got 8 stocks, 70% of the NASDAQ 100. And worse, those 8 are 38% of the S&P. And that's worse. You got 492 stocks that are 62%. And I think there's like 200 or 300 that don't even register anymore. 0.1%. And that's why a lot of people call it the S&P 8 and the NASDAQ 8 instead of the NASDAQ 100. In that vein, Meta, bearish. Microsoft getting a little bit more bearish. Amazon hanging in there, good gap to the upside. Apple hanging in there. Broadcom held a 21-day today. Google strong. NVIDIA didn't like what it did today. And Tesla on the move today. They have their shareholder meeting. Ready for this one? There's a vote tomorrow at the shareholder meeting of Tesla on a $1 trillion pay package for Elon Musk. No, we're not making that up. There's a vote on a $1 trillion pay package for Elon Musk. I have one issue. The whole market cap is 1.5. Elon Musk deserves, but how do you do a $1 trillion pay package when the whole market cap is 1.5? We just, take out our rusty abacus and try to figure these little things out, and some things we just don't understand. But good on him. By the way, they will vote yes. There's no doubt, because we know who the big shareholders are, and they've already basically come out and say, yeah. Elon Musk, gotta love him. And by the way, he's doing great things with his Starlink, his XAI, and of course SpaceX. By the way, Starlink is going to be gargantuan. The internet, all the airlines are putting it up, and I use Starlink going from Hawaii to the all across the ocean. It's the greatest internet on an airplane I've ever been on. Not one time did it go bye-bye. It was terrific. The dude's got game, that's all I can tell you. And who knows what's next with him. So that's tomorrow. And I was asked, what do you think happens to the stock if they vote no? I gather it goes down. They're not voting no. There's no way. Big shareholders have already come out. And let me tell you why. Because they have made big bucks throughout the years with Elon Musk. Big bucks. So all in all, you would have want to bet against me today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Say well, be well. Have a great one. Until tomorrow. Good night.